In this video, we're going to be covering creating online exams in Blackboard, how to create an online exam, how to create pools of questions, and how to activate lockdown browser for your exam. Open your course that you will create your exam in. Go to Course Tools. Choose Test, Surveys, and Pools. Click on Tests. Click on Build Test. Type the name of that test. Type some instructions and description for this exam. Once you insert the name of the exam, a description and instructions, click on Submit. Once you click on Submit, Test Canvas page will appear for you. In Blackboard, we have variety types of questions. To explore them, you can click on Create a Question and check all types of question Blackboard offers. In this video, we're gonna explore true and false questions, essays questions, and multiple choice questions. To create a true and false question, you need to click on Create Questions and select True and False. You need to type the question text. Once I insert the question text, I can edit the font and color and size of the question, like this. Once I'm done with editing the question, I can scroll down and check the correct answer. For my question, the correct answer is false. So I'm gonna select it. I can provide a feedback for correct responses and incorrect responses for students. I can also categorize this question by different four types. For this question, I'm gonna categorize it for topics by clicking on this add, and I'm gonna specify it as chapter 1. Level of difficulties, I can add it over here by clicking on add and typing easy, for example, and click on OK. Now you have two options. Either create another question with the same type, which is true and false, or submit and create a new question with different type. To create a true and false question again, you need to click on submit and create another, which will generate the same type of question. If you clicked on submit, you're gonna go back to the page to create a new type of question. In my situation, I'm gonna click on submit. Now I'm gonna add a new question type. As an example, essay question. I'm gonna click on create question, choose essay. Over here, I need to type the question text. Once I insert the question text, I need to scroll down and type a model of the correct answer. I need to notify you that for essay questions, you need to go back and check them. They are not checked automatically within the system. You can scroll down over here and also add a category for this question as before. Now I'm gonna click on submit to create another type of question. I'm gonna click on create a question and create a multiple choice question. Over here, I need to type the question. Once I'm done with typing the question text, I can scroll down into these options. Answer numbering. If I would like to have the answer numbered, I can click on this one and choose the numbering I would like to choose. Answer orientation. Would I like the answers to be vertical view or horizontal view? Allow partial credit. If the question is allow partial credit, you can click on this one. Show answers in random order. You can check this one if you want the answers to be randomized. I just need to notify you also that you can't use this one if you are having one of the choices, none of the above or all of the above, because it's going to be randomized. You can scroll down over here and choose the number of answers. Minimum are available over here is 4. You can choose how many answers you have. Now you're gonna be inserting the answers over here. Answer 1, answer 2, answer 3, and answer 4. In my situation, my correct answer is 2, for example. I'm gonna click on this one to check the correct answer. Once I'm done, I can also provide feedback and I can also categorize this question and click on submit. I can see now that all my questions are available over here and I'm done with creating the test. I click on OK and the test is going to be available over here. If you would like to create a test bank or pool of questions, you need to be creating pools instead of tests. To create pools, you need to go down and click on Test Surveys and Pools and choose Pools. Click on Build Pool. Type the name of that pool, for example, Chapter 1. Insert a description and instructions for this pool. After you are done, click on Submit. Once you click on Submit, Pool Canvas page will appear for you. You can create all questions that you would like to add as previously mentioned in test questions. You can create pools as much as you want. After you are done with creating pools, you need to group them all in one test. To do so, you need to go back, click on Test Surveys and Pools, click on Tests, and click on Build Test. Name the test as a final exam. Scroll down and insert a description and instructions for this exam. Click on Submit. Now you need to deploy the pools that you created into this page. To do so, you need to click on Reuse Questions and click on Create Question Set. On the left hand side, you're gonna see all the pools that you created. Now I'm gonna select Chapter 1 and select all the questions in Chapter 1 by clicking on this icon. I maximize this page and click on Submit. Now, Chapter 1 pool is added, and over here I can specify the number of questions to display from this pool to students. I can type, for example, I want 3 questions to appear from this pool. I can add the second pool by clicking on Reuse Questions, Create Question Set, and choose Chapter 2. All the questions in Chapter 2 are going to appear over here. Click on this one and click on Submit. Now I can specify the number of questions I want to appear from pool number 2. I click on Submit. Over here I can change the marks for each question by clicking on this one, and for example I want it to be 1, I click on Submit. Or if I want to change the marks for all the questions, I can click on Select All, specify the mark that I wanted for each question, for example 1, and click on Update. Now all the questions over here will carry 1 mark. To make sure, you can check over here that the total questions that will appear for students is 5 and the total point is 5. After you are done with specifying the amount of questions you want for the students to appear, you can click on OK. And you can check that this exam is now available, but you need to deploy it to students. To do so, you need to add this exam for the students' view. How to do this? You need to click on this plus sign, go to Content area, name it as Online Exams, and just don't select this one right now. You can make it available to users before the exam. Now click on Submit. You can find Online Exam tab is available over here. Click on this one, click on Assessments, Test, and by default, the questions and the exams that you created are going to be available over here. I have this one available. I'm gonna click on this one and click on Submit. The setting page is going to appear for you. You can edit the name of the test, the description of the test over here. You can click on this one to show the description before the beginning of the exam. You can also click on this one to allow the instructions to be available for students before the exam. Open test in a new window is not recommended because you're gonna be using lockdown browser. Test availability. This needs to be yes. times, make available to students, so the exam is going to be available for students in the mentioned time. Add a new announcement for this test. It's up to the instructor. You can have it as yes or no. Multiple attempts will not be checked because it's a final exam. You need to click on first completion so the students will be finishing the exam in one setting. You can set the timer by clicking on this one and specify it as 60 minutes. It's preferable to be checking the auto submit and make it as on, so the test is going to be submitted automatically once the 60 minutes is done. Over here you need to set the date and time for the exam. By clicking on this one, you're gonna set the time and date. Click on this one and choose the date that the exam will appear for the students. By clicking on this one, you're gonna specify the time for students. When will it start? It's gonna start at 9 a.m. for example. You can specify the time until the link is going to be available for students by clicking on this one and choosing the end date and time. Test availability exceptions. If you have specific people who need extra time, you can add these students by clicking on add users and groups, and the list of students of your class will appear for you and you can choose the student that needs specific time. Due date. As long as it's a limited time, there is no need to specify a due date. Over here, keep it by default. Include this test grade center score calculations so you can view the marks afterward. Show test results and feedback to students. If you want the marks that do not appear to students, you need to uncheck this box. For test presentation, you have two options. Either all questions at once appear in one page, or one at a time, so students will go back and forth and each question appear once per page. Randomized questions is preferred for final exams, so students will be getting different questions at different times. Clicking on this one will activate randomized questions. After you are done, you need to click on submit. Once you click on submit, the exam is going to appear over here. You can edit the settings of the exam by clicking on this arrow and choosing edit the test options. If you would like to edit the questions of the exam, you can also click on this arrow and choose edit the test. To activate Respondus Lockdown Browser for this exam, you need also to go to Course Tools, go to Respondus Lockdown Browser. It's over here. Click on Respondus Lockdown Browser. This page will appear for you. Once the page loads, click on Continue to Lockdown Browser. Over here, the exams that you deployed are going to be listed. Click on this one and click on Settings. To activate the Lockdown Browser, you need to choose the second option, which is Require Respondus Lockdown Browser for this exam. Once you click on this one, you need to click on the Advanced Settings. You need to choose Lock Students into the browser until exam is completed. You will allow students to take this exam through their iPads. You need to check this one. If you would like to enable calculator from the browser itself, you need to choose this one. To activate the Respondus Monitor, you need to choose the second option, which is Require Respondus Monitor for this exam. Once you click on this one, you're gonna have this icon over here about Respondus Monitor. You can click on Continue to Respondus Monitor. By default, all these options are checked. The startup sequence, these options are going to appear to students before they start the exam. Once you are done, click on Save and Close. If it's the date of the exam and you would like to show the link for students, you need to click on this one and click on Show Link. So this tab is going to be activated and students can be able to access the exam on the mentioned time. Before the exam began, you need to hide the marks from students. You can go to Grade Center, Full Grade Center. By default, a column is going to be created with the exam you named Final Exam. You can click on this arrow and click on Hide from Students. This icon will show that these marks are hidden from students and they will not be able to see their marks. After the exam's done, you would like to check the student's process through the exam after you activated the monitor and the lockdown browser. To do so, you need to scroll down and go to Course Tools. From Course Tools, you need to choose again Respondus Lockdown Browser. Choosing Respondus Lockdown Browser, clicking on Continue to Lockdown Browser. Over here, the exam that you created, in this drop-down menu, you will have class results. Once you click on class results, you will have the last and the first name of all your students. To check their process through the exam, you need to click on this plus sign. Once you click on this plus sign, you're gonna find a video that plays everything the student did. First of all, it requires him to take a student photo, his student ID, the environment video, and then the start of the exam. Playing this video will allow you to check what the student did through the exam. By clicking on milestones, you can check when did the student answer the first question, the second question, and so on. If the student did something wrong, you're gonna find over here an option for flags. Over here, there is no flags for this student, which shows that he did a really good performance. You can view his record and you can check also that the student took 5.6 minutes to finish this exam. Once you are done with checking the student progress, you can click on this one, Reviewed, so you can show that it has been checked and go to the other students you have in this class. To view the students' grades after they are done from the exam, or to check the essays questions that you created, you need to go to Grade Center. Once you click on Grade Center, you're gonna check Full Grade Center. The student who answered the question in the column that you created is going to have this icon if there is something needs to be graded. If your questions are already automatically graded by the system, you're gonna find the student mark written over here. For example, this student, I need to go back and check his attempt. I need to click on this one and click on Attempt. Once I click on this one, I'm gonna check the student submission. For example, here is the question that he needs to answer, which he didn't answer, so I'm gonna give him the mark as 0 and click on Submit. Once I click on Submit, the mark is going to appear for the student over here.